welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vassell, and this is my daughter Melody, and we have been doing our top 100 board games. And today, we go into the top 10. Okay. I think I'm just as excited, mostly because we're almost done with this. Here we go. 5 of Melody's and 5 of mine.
Number 10. Cash and Gun.
In Cash and Guns, you have some money that you're fighting over. You know, you've all just robbed the bank or something, and now you're going to be fighting over it. And players are going to be pointing plastic guns at each other's heads. Don't worry, moms and dads. In the American version, the guns are all this color, the orange color. Players will have different cards. Some of them say click, some of them say bang. You pick one that you use each turn. You'll have to use one of each as the game progresses. So, you know, you have to pick when you choose your bang. You'll point your gun at someone else. They have to decide whether they're going to drop out or stay in. If they don't drop out and you shoot them, they get a wound. If they do drop out, and they'll take a coward point. But the folks who don't drop out and don't take wounds will then get to split the money. And more money comes out, causing more and more problems. There's different variants where you can have an undercover police officer and different things like that. And it is a very, very fun experience.
This game is an excellent game to play with lots of people because you get to point guns, swords, and little ninja darts at other people's heads. Like, are you bluffing or not? And it's really fun because the squishy guns are cool. Like, okay, I got a gun. Put your hands up. And throwing the ninja darts at others is fun because they can't be unblockable. They have to be like, uh-oh, I hope they don't hit me. And it's fun to play. 10. Dungeon Twisters.
Alright, we'll start off top 10 here with Dungeon Twister. Dungeon Twister is Dungeon Twister Prison. And Dungeon Twister is a absolutely neat game in which players are, it's almost like a chess game. Players each control 8 characters, which have been thrown into this dungeon by this mad scientist, and you must fight one another and get out. It includes aspects of fighting and strategy, but there is 0 luck in the game other than your initial setup. But the combinations of characters right now, I think there's 40 or 50 different characters you can pick between, different kinds of equipment, different rooms that you can be in. You'll never have the same configuration twice. And I think I like it because the theme is fantasy, which I like, but the depth of strategy in this game is probably deeper than any other strategy fantasy game on the market.
Alhambra.
We're not going to show you how Alhambra is exactly played. We just want to show you what we use. We use the big box, which has all the different expansions sorted. And you can see our opinions. We did a video on which of the expansions are our favorite. But if you buy this big box, you get them all. And, you know, each section of the box has the tiles and different parts that you need for the different expansions in there. You know, but you still have your stuff ready for the basic game. And it's just really neat how you can do this. Alhambra is a tile placing game where you're putting down buildings, trying to build a little city with walls around it, and using your money to get the most buildings of different types. And it's a very easy, simple game, but there's so much that can be added to it as you add all these different expansions, and you can mix and match all 20 of them.
I like this game because all the expansions are in one box. It's not such a pain in the butt to carry all the expansions in tiny little boxes everywhere and for this game. And it's just fun of how you make the city and buy the little types of buildings and walls. It's really fun to play and build and see different types of things happening. Descent.
Here is the set. This is all of the set. Actually, this is not all. I have another whole case, or 2 cases, I think, full of Descent stuff. Descent is basically a dungeon crawl in a board game. And I like Descent quite a bit, but it's the latest 2 expansions, Sea of Blood and the Roads of Legend expansions, which have really changed it. Because before, Descent was this big dungeon crawl. It took 6, 7, 8 hours. These new expansions have changed it to a 200-hour game, except you can break it up into 3, 4-hour chunks at a time, playing a campaign that can be saved. Absolutely stunning, absolutely fun. Last year it was my number 2 game. The only reason it's dropped down to number 9, which is still, again, out of 2,000 games, is really high. It's just that I'm not playing it as much these days because of time constraints, but I still love it dearly. I still think it's a fantastic, neat system where you use dice to measure range, whether you hit somebody, how much damage you do, and how different dice can control that. It's great. I'm wondering if I'm not going to see any more expansions for it. Haven't seen any in a while or any even announced, but hey, for what is out there in the market right now, still a fantastically fun game, Descent.
Number 8. Alicante!
You might think that we're looking at some toys for kids here, but no, this is actually the game. And in this game, players are going to be taking and trying to season their recipe and get certain colors in to match one of the recipes without getting any of this annoying salt in there. And if they get the certain amount of recipes that they'll need, like for example here, they need a red, a black, a green, then they'll get different amounts of points. And that's basically the game. There's, different things that you're doing in the game, sometimes even flipping a pancake. But for the most part, you're cooking up a recipe. Lots of fun.
This fun cooking game is really fun to play because you're putting in different seasonings and the artwork is so toyistic because everything looks like it can be played as a toy, and just playing the game is fun. Like the menus are funny looking and the food just is disgusting or cute and stuff like that, and the game is fun to play. Number 8! Le Havre.
Le Havre is another game in the same vein as Agricola, which I talked about in the last video. This is the second game in that series, and in this game, you are buying and selling goods. Are you spitting inside there? I'm not going to wear that again. Anyway, you're buying and selling goods in a shipping yard. And while that sounds kind of boring, and I certainly would say no, it's actually fun. You're buying and converting the goods, and there's so many different ways you can do it, and every way is fun. The reason I love Le Havre is because it's a game of good options, better options, and awesome options. And every turn you do something, it just feels very satisfying. I took this, and I converted it to this, and I made this, and I got this. You never feel like you're getting undercut. Yes, there's always pressure to get food for your people, but it's just so absolutely amazing, the different strategies that are inside this game. So, one of my favorite games, Le Havre.
Number 7. Faces.
All these faces and many, many more. I have a huge box full of different pictures that I found. And basically, you say something like, which one of these looks like a serial killer? Or which one of these just got dumped by their significant other? Or which one of these loves ice cream? And you pick one of them, and the judge picks one. I don't know how to explain it. It's just hilarious fun, mostly because of the plethora of funny pictures.
I like this game because the pictures are just really funny and sometimes disgusting. And when you play down a card, and when the player is looking at the cards, you're trying to coax them into picking your card. Like, ooh, that really does look disgusting, or maybe that guy really did get married. And the little kids have no idea what they're doing, so they just pick a random card that they really like, and it's just a really funny game to play. Battleground, famous world star.
Battleground Fantasy Warfare is not this, but listen. See right here? These are some small plastic boxes which I got from Plano. Don't email me where I got them. I think they're out of print. I found them on eBay. But anyway, I have here 7 boxes. I have actually a few more than this, but this is 7 boxes. Each of these boxes contains an army. Each of these armies is a huge thousands and thousands of point army that equals thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of miniatures that people paint and build and have a problem storing. I have it all right here in a very fully contained miniatures game which you can play against someone else. It is great. Not only is the rules of the miniature game very fun and entertaining, and has some really neat things about writing orders, and they will continue to follow those orders so you change differently, but the difference between the factions, and they've even added some historical factions to play against now, is just unbelievable. So Battleground Fantasy Warfare, easily on my top 10 list.
Number 6! Illustrations.
Telestrations is more of an activity than a game. Each player will have a book. They will draw a card that will tell them what to draw. So for example, a cold shoulder. So I might draw a guy like this, and then I'll point to this and say, plus ice cube. And okay, that's a cold shoulder. And the next person might say, man and cube. And then the next person will only see this writing, man and cube. And so then they'll say, well, here's a man and a cube. And then the next guy might write, man going to box. And then the next person might see that, and they might draw a guy who is boxing. And okay, I think we've done enough of my terrible drawing for you to see, but that is how the game works. Yeah, there's points in the game. There's a way to score, but mostly it's funny watching how you change whisper down the alley, but instead of whispering down the alley, you are drawing down the alley.
I really like this game because you're drawing something and then passing it on to the next person. And when you get to the results, it is so hilarious. Especially when you're playing with kids because they have no idea what the other person has just drawn. So they just guess and write something, and the next person guesses and draws something else. And it's just a hilarious game to play. Memoir 44.
Okay, I really don't know what Days of Wonder is expecting from me these days. I have here my Memoir 44 in the specially made Memoir 44 carrying case that they have, and it does not hold everything anymore. There's too much Memoir stuff, and I couldn't be happier. Really. Memoir 44. I already talked about Commands and Colors in the last video. That's a great game, and it's very similar to Memoir 44, and probably has more depth and fun in it than well, not fun, but has more depth and strategy in it than Memoir. But Memoir is great and fantastic for two reasons. One, because it's simple and fun. Throw a scenario together, have fun, play it, and you can recreate so many battles from World War II. If you like Axis and Allies and like those style games, folks, you need to play Memoir 44. It is just a blast. You will love it. If you're interested in World War II at all, this is the definitive game. Yes, I said that, you Grogners. This is the definitive game of World War II. Anyway. But what makes it really fun is when you take two games, put them together, and you play 8 people. 4 people against 4 people. It's called the Overlord scenario. And it is one of the best gaming experiences you will ever have. Recreating, you'll sense the mortar shells flying, the shout to the men on the beach. It is stupendous. Whew, we are almost done. 2 more videos to go through our top 5 games of all times. These are great games, and it's pretty easy to mix some of them up sometimes. But my favorite game was really easy to pick this year. But you'll have to wait and see, because we have 5 more games to talk about, and we'll come back in the next video. Don't forget to click the links around here. But either way, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Melody.
I guess we're that right now, but it doesn't really matter. We'll see you.
Tune into our next show for more Top 10 gaming goodness, or check out our website at www.thedicetower.com for more reviews and top 10 lists. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Do it again because it sounds like he's a number 6.
Okay, can
Make
you
sure it's number
guys
6.
close your ears and close your eyes?
Okay, well, I'll turn around so you won't see us. Go. What are you doing there?
You sound like that, even with my fingers in my...
Alright, let's try it again. Alright, and be very serious and as loud as you can singing number 6.
Number 6.
Okay, don't fall down this time.
Yeah.
You can laugh, but stay standing. Okay, really beautifully, number 6.
Number 6.